Growing up, I was surrounded by the quiet sting of betrayal, a constant undercurrent that tainted our home. My father's affairs weren't just family secrets tucked away in hushed tones. They were raw, open sores that bled into every corner of our lives. His frequent disappearances, the late nights carrying the scent of cheap perfume, and the mocking grin he flashed when confronted, stood in sharp contrast to my mother's steadfast love. As a boy of 11, I'd lie awake, my young mind wrestling with why she stayed, why she endured the pain of his indifference. To my childish heart, love was a sacred, unbreakable bond, capable of withstanding any storm. But the fractures in their marriage taught me a bitter lesson. Trust is fragile, and love can be twisted into a weapon. I swore I'd build a different life, one free from the chaos of my youth. When I met Claire in high school, I saw in her the qualities I craved: kindness, loyalty, and a shared vision for stability. We forged our relationship on what I believed was mutual honesty and respect, and from the day we exchanged vows, I dreamed of a future unmarred by the pain of my past. I'm Ethan, a salesman at an RV dealership in a small Midwestern town, 6 feet tall, with dark hair and steady green eyes. Claire works as an office coordinator, and together we've carved out a comfortable life in a house owned by my mother and stepfather. But even the strongest foundations can crumble, and as I learned, no illusion of security can shield you from life's unpredictable tempests. The night Claire chose to spend with another man wasn't just another evening. It was the moment my world collapsed, the end of the life I'd carefully constructed. She assumed I'd overlook her betrayal, that her pursuit of a fleeting thrill wouldn't shatter me. Maybe she was right about her need for excitement, but she misjudged how deeply her actions would cut. What she saw as a harmless fling, I saw as a wound that tore apart the fabric of our marriage, exposing the fragility beneath our promises. It started on a chilly morning in May 2025, as I sat at my desk, sipping coffee and thinking of Claire. We'd met in high school, dating steadily, though we briefly saw others during teenage spats, always finding our way back to each other. We shared our first intimate moment before prom, a memory wrapped in tenderness and trust, and married 9 months after graduation. As far as I knew, I was her only partner, a bond I cherished. My phone rang, an unfamiliar number flashing. Wary of scams, I hesitated, but answered. "Hi, honey," I said, expecting Claire's voice. Instead, a man's sharp tone replied, "This isn't your wife, Mr. Harper. I'm Daniel Reed, a colleague of Claire's. I need you to meet me this afternoon." My stomach knotted, confusion laced with dread. "Is she okay? She was fine this morning," I said, my voice unsteady. "She's fine," Daniel replied, "but I have information you should know. Can you meet me at noon?" His refusal to elaborate left me rattled, but I agreed, my mind swirling with possibilities, wondering if this was a cruel joke. At noon, I met Daniel outside a busy diner, his suggestion to walk to a nearby park signaling the need for discretion. As we wandered beneath budding trees, he dropped the bombshell. "Your wife has been spending a lot of time with a man named Lucas Bennett at work. They lunch together daily, and today they were openly planning a date tomorrow night. Dinner at the Hilton, dancing, and a night together." My heart sank, the ground shifting beneath me. "Are you saying they're sleeping together?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Yes," Daniel confirmed. "Lucas has made reservations, and Claire's shopping for an outfit." Numbness enveloped me, my mind grappling with the betrayal. "How do they think this will work?" I stammered, grasping for sense. "She believes you love her enough to let her explore this," Daniel said, his tone clinical. "She thinks it won't affect your marriage." I stopped walking, the weight of his words crushing my chest. "Why tell me?" I demanded, my voice raw. His expression hardened. I was married for 9 years. My wife's affair ruined me, and the legal system left me with nothing. I'm trying to save you from that. We talked longer, his words stirring memories of my mother's pain, her silent endurance of my father's drunken affairs, his mocking laughter when I confronted him. At 11, he dragged me to his girlfriend's house, leaving me to walk home after tiring of her yapping dog. When I told my mother, she didn't challenge him, but 2 days later, he lashed me with a belt for breaking a dish, a punishment for my unintended snitching. I couldn't fathom condoning Claire's infidelity. The thought churned my stomach, a visceral echo of my childhood scars. My mother eventually left my father, finding joy with my stepfather. But those wounds shaped my resolve. I refused to relive her suffering. Living in a house owned by my mother and stepfather, I wrestled with whether to confront Claire or wait for proof. As a salesman, I thrived on action, not hesitation. But if Claire was planning this, I didn't know her at all. She knew my hatred of infidelity, forged in the crucible of my youth, so I decided to act. But how, when the threat's reality was uncertain? I mapped every scenario, picturing the worst, her defiance, her departure, and what I could endure. If I couldn't live with the worst, I needed a new path. I hired a private investigator, and after a costly meeting, we devised a plan. Returning home, I found Claire waiting, her hug and kiss as warm as ever. But I faced a choice: act normal to let her plans unfold, or hint at my knowledge, risking denial or delay. Suspicion might derail her, but I chose normalcy, grilling steaks for dinner, the effort like swallowing shards of glass. Claire was either a skilled performer or, as Daniel suggested, so confident she didn't bother hiding her intentions. At 11, I showered and lay awake, sleep a distant dream, my mind a battlefield of doubt and resolve. By 6 the next morning, Claire was up, dressed, and gone without our usual goodbye kiss, a subtle but seismic shift. It was Friday, a prime day for RV sales, but I called my boss to take off, then contacted the dealership's attorney for a divorce lawyer referral. He recommended his wife, noting she avoided cases involving cheating husbands. After explaining Daniel's claims and my childhood, I met her, detailing my fears. She questioned my haste, but advised waiting for proof. I insisted I'd tolerate no affair, big or small, and wanted Claire served by Monday if Daniel was right. If he's wrong, I'll eat crow, I said. But if he's right, I'll be ready. She promised the paperwork would be ready. By 1, I was back at work, selling a 45-foot motorhome to an elderly couple, the Wilsons. Their lively, loving bond stirred envy, a vision of the future I'd hoped for with Claire. I offered a discount, cutting my commission, their smiles a fleeting comfort as they drove off. Checking with my investigator, I confirmed everything was in place. At 5:30, I pulled into the garage, Claire's car in its spot, the house silent, no dinner cooking. I placed the investigator's package on the mantel and waited, my heart pounding. At 5:45, Claire descended the stairs, radiant in a new dress, an overnight bag in hand. "Wow, you look stunning. What's the occasion?" I asked, my stomach twisting. "A guy at work's been asking me out, and I thought it'd be fun," she replied, her tone infuriatingly casual. "Like a date?" I pressed, anger seeping through. "Yes," she said, unfazed. "Since you're the only man I've been with, I want to sleep with someone else. Dinner, dancing, a night at a hotel." My face drained of color, her calmness surreal. "You can't be serious. I'm not agreeing to this." "Who is he?" I demanded, grasping for clarity. "It's no big deal," she dismissed. "One night of fun. I'll be back tomorrow, and it'll be like nothing happened. I might learn something you'll like." "There's no way I'm letting you go," I said, my voice tight with fury. "Don't be ridiculous," she snapped. "If you go, our marriage is over," I warned, each word heavy with finality. A car honked outside. "That's him," she said, moving toward the door. I blocked her, pleading, "Please don't do this." She stepped around me, kissing my cheek. "I'll be home by noon tomorrow. Everything will be fine," she said, her confidence a dagger. "If you leave, you won't have a home to come back to," I called, my heart sinking. "You're being stupid," she said, rolling her eyes. "Enjoy your night thinking about how much fun I'm having. We'll talk tomorrow." She kissed me again and left. I didn't watch her go. Turning off the recorder, I grabbed trash bags, spending 2 hours erasing her presents, clothes, toiletries, birth certificate, diploma, photo albums, her grandfather's bronze statue. I packed everything into her car, parked it on the street, and left the keys on the seat. Sleep evaded me, my mind a storm of anguish. I tried watching TV, but the pain consumed me, leaving me hollow. For 2 days, I was a zombie, unable to rest, my thoughts a relentless churn of betrayal. By 11 on the third day, I'd finalized the Wilson's sale and was home by 11:45, new keys from the locksmith in hand. The investigator delivered video footage, and at 12:30, I watched, each frame a searing confirmation of my fears. The doorbell rang, and I opened it to Claire. "My key doesn't work, and why's my car outside?" she asked, bewildered. "Your key doesn't work because you don't live here anymore. Your car's outside because I don't want it in my garage," I said, blocking the door. "What are you talking about? This is my house," she protested, pushing forward. "I told you, if you got in that man's car, you wouldn't have a place to come back to. Your stuff's in your car," I said, my voice steady despite the chaos inside. "You can't be serious. It was just—" she began, but I slammed the door. She pounded, and I reopened it. "Stop banging, or I'll call the police," I threatened, a bluff born of desperation. "You can't do this. This is my house," she yelled. "This house belongs to my mother and stepfather, and they've decided you don't live here. Leave," I said, slamming the door again. I resumed the tapes, anger simmering, then poured a gin and tonic, my frustration boiling. The doorbell rang relentlessly, and I yanked it open, finding Claire's sister, Megan. "Claire's crying at my house. I want to know why," she demanded. I slammed the door, but the ringing persisted. Furious, I opened it, grabbing her hand. "Ring that bell again, and I'll break your fingers," I warned. "Talk to me, please," she pleaded. Relenting, I let her in. "I thought you loved Claire. I can't believe you kicked her out over a stupid disagreement," she said. "Disagreement?" I scoffed. "She didn't tell you she went out with a guy from work. Dinner, dancing, a hotel room." I played the audio from Friday, Megan's face crumpling as she listened. "I had no idea," she whispered. "Yeah, neither did I said bitterly. "What are you going to do?" she asked. "Divorce her," I replied, my voice cold. She nodded, and I escorted her out, her hesitation heavy with unspoken words. That evening, and all of Sunday, I drowned in grilled cheese and gin, self-pity my only companion. Megan knocked again, wary of the bell. "You said you'd break my fingers if I rang, so I knocked," she said. "I've been talking to Claire. She says nothing happened. They drank too much, passed out, and she insisted he take her home." "That's a story," I muttered, unconvinced. "You don't believe her?" Megan asked. "No. They planned this for weeks, grew close, shared secrets about our marriage. That's betrayal, whether they followed through or not," I said, my resolve unshaken. "You won't forgive her?" she pressed. "Not in this lifetime," I replied. At the door, She paused. Can we stay friends when this is over? I sighed. We're divorcing. If she fights, it'll get ugly. You probably won't want to be friends after. She smiled faintly, kissed my cheek, and left. I turned off my phone, ignoring Claire's calls, and spoke briefly with her father, explaining the betrayal's depth. He sighed, accepting divorce was inevitable. On Monday, I instructed my attorney to serve Claire, and at 4, Daniel called. Claire was served with a summons. She fainted, and an ambulance took her to the hospital. Lucas picked up the papers, read them, and nearly collapsed, he said. I felt no sympathy, only a dark amusement. Megan called next, reporting Claire's hospitalization. So? I said coldly. Are you that heartless? She asked. My coldness comes from your sister, I retorted. This is just the beginning. Weeks unfolded predictably. Claire's pleas, her parents' urging, my mother's attempts to console me, all ignored. Daniel's daily updates detailed Claire's withdrawal at work, her silence with Lucas. Our lawyers arranged a meeting with Claire, her lawyer, Megan, and me. Claire looked hollow, her vibrancy drained. Megan's presence surprised me. Are you sure you want to be here? I asked. I'm here for Claire, she replied. Fine, stay, I said. Claire's lawyer claimed she denied infidelity and sought counseling to save the marriage. My lawyer asked her to explain her actions. A gentleman friend picked me up, she said calmly. No name? My lawyer pressed. It's not important. Nothing happened, she insisted, echoing Megan's tale. Champagne. Passing out. A misunderstanding. I love my husband and want forgiveness, she said, Megan nodding. My lawyer asked about touching. Absolutely not. Claire lied. I played the video. Claire kissing Lucas passionately in our driveway, his hand on her rear at the restaurant, their rush to the hotel suite, bugged by my investigator. Claire screamed, fleeing with Megan and her lawyer. Later, Megan visited my booth at the dealership. You knew, didn't you? She asked. Yes, I watched the video before you came Saturday, I admitted. They weren't just fooling around, Megan. She's my wife, and she let it happen. Why didn't you tell me? She asked softly. I thought she'd admit it. I wanted to spare your family the details, I said. Daniel called, reporting Claire quit without clearing her desk. Megan revealed Claire had moved out, apologizing to my parents for disappointing them. She disappointed more than them, I said. Months passed without contact. I canceled credit cards, took half our funds, and considered desertion if Claire stayed gone. Daniel called, revealing Lucas spoke to Claire, mentioning a Florida number. Megan confirmed Claire was in Fort Lauderdale, and I sent divorce papers there. Megan and I watched the video, her stance against revenge firm. Daniel reported Lucas quit, moving to Florida. Megan admitted Claire and Lucas met multiple times, her silence a fresh wound. Furious, I confided in a mechanic friend, a retired vet. I could make sure they don't make it to Florida, he offered. Not worth jail, I said. Living with myself is punishment enough. Megan's car appeared at my house, and I shut the door on her knocking, eating reheated pasta alone, the solitude a strange comfort. My mother invited me for dinner, revealing Claire's claimed pregnancy, a secret she kept at Claire's request. Forgive her? I scoffed, recalling my father's cheating. Have you forgotten what that was like? I stormed out, sleeping in the dealership lounge, my back aching from the couch. My boss offered time off, sending me to Vancouver to retrieve the Wilsons' RV after Mr. Wilson's heart attack. Their warm, enduring bond lifted me, but their granddaughter, Sophie, was a tempest, surly, tossing keys at me, her silence a wall. Driving the RV back, we clashed, her attitude grating, but she drove while I slept, handling fuel and navigation with surprising skill. In Houston, she flipped me off as she left, and I crashed in the break room, my boss joking about my survival. Sophie returned my phone, left in the Wilsons' car, but a wreck outside the dealership revealed her injury. "You always catch me at my best," she said, smiling before passing out. I updated the Wilsons, Mr. Wilson coldly wishing for worse. At the hospital, Sophie's parents thanked me, joking about her chatter. Ignoring calls from my mother and Megan, I received signed divorce papers from Claire. No mention of a baby. At the Wilsons' barbecue, Sophie pulled me into the library, upset about a guy's insults. "I agree with him," I said, walking out. "You're supposed to be on my side," she called. "The only nice thing you said was when you were bleeding," I shot back. She asked for dinner, but I declined, citing my divorce's stress. My mother apologized, acknowledging Fidelity's sanctity, and we reconciled. Daniel reported Lucas was denied his job back. Sophie invited me for lasagna on the RV, her calm surprising me. We kissed, sparking a date that night. At her gated community, we spent the night together, her humor and depth emerging. My boss and colleagues teased, but the Wilsons supported us, Jane whispering, "Let yourself be happy." Sophie and I grew closer, her edges softening, our debates fueling growth. Claire's updates faded, her betrayal a distant lesson. Work thrived, the Wilsons' dinners a reminder of true partnership. One night, Sophie served lasagna, toasting to new beginnings. I clinked her glass, the past's weight lifting, my future uncertain but fearless.
Thank you for listening. Please share your thoughts, like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe for more.